Okay, so I had a gentleman the other day, and he asked me, Manny, it is my back that hurts. Why are most of your interventions focused on my hips? And okay, you know what? You're here for 3 exercises to help improve your bunion. I'm gonna show you the 3 exercises, and as I show you these 3 exercises, I'm hoping to explain very well how important other parts of your body are integral to help you improve your bunion. You ready for this? Here we go. Okay, now so what you're seeing here is a variation of clamshell exercise. So listen, I don't know who named all these exercises after animals, but we are rolling with it. Now with this variation here, you will keep the knees and feet apart, making sure that the legs are parallel to each other. As you can see yourself, I'm going through a side bridge movement. So I'm raising up my hips off of the floor as I extend through the hips, making sure that my hips is driving forward as well. This is very important. Now, if this is too hard, you could do an easier variation where you keep the feet together but the knees still comes apart. Of course, if this is too hard, I have an easier variation for you. You can just stay on your side, have a resistance band between your knees, and open up your knees. One of the things that your butt muscles, your gluteus, one of the things that your buttocks does really well is to get the thigh bone to go through external rotation. Now, with this exercise here, I'm having us build a strong foundation for that. I promise you this will all make sense at the end of this video as to why this is important to help improve your bunion. Okay, next. Actually, you know what? Come back. Before we do the next exercise, it may not be a bad idea at all to do these in toe separators. However, it is not absolutely necessary because with or without the toe separators, I want you to be able to do these 2 exercises with some ability to bring your big toe out to a more neutral position. Does that make sense? It doesn't have to be a neutral position. Just bring it out as far out into a neutral position as you can manage. I have videos talking about toe separators and of course videos on local strategy exercises to help you improve your bunion, so make sure you check that out as well. Okay, so you're probably looking at this footage and asking, okay, what are we doing here, Manny? Well, we've got it here today to get some glute burner. Serious, Manny. All right, so with this exercise, as you can tell, I'm standing on one leg. I have the other leg out to the side. Now, I have my fingers up and pointed towards the camera for a specific purpose, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But I want you in this position, and all I'm doing here is sitting back into my hips, hinging your trunk as far forward as you can. The key here is to keep the knee right where it's at. Do you hear me? The key here is to keep the knee right where it's at. I promise you a lot of you are going to try this and make the mistake and drive the knee forward. I want you to keep the knee right above the ankles and drive your hips backwards. Allow the knee to unlock. Don't make your knee stiff. Allow it to unlock, but drive your hips back. And if you're doing this appropriately, you should feel a healthy work through your butt muscles. Now, there's a specific reason why this is our next exercise. I want you to be able to do this without collapsing knee in at the knee. That is why we did the first exercise, to strengthen our hip external rotators to be able to stabilize the knee in its neutral position as we hinge the hips backwards. Now, the fingers. I have my fingers here because I want you to start doing this against the wall. I'm facing the camera to give you a better view, but definitely do this having your fingers tips against the wall. Don't clutch onto the windowsill if you happen to be close to a windowsill. Have those fingertips right on the wall as you drive your hips back, keeping the knee right above the ankle, and then coming back up, straightening up at the hips. When you come back up, don't drive the knee back. You want to drive your hip forward to come straight up. So now with this exercise, the reason why it is important is to keep that knee in a neutral position because it's going to be very important for the function of the foot to help you improve your bunion. All right, and again, that will all make sense after the next exercise. So the next exercise, when you're doing this exercise, just like with the previous exercise, I want you to start off with the foot in a neutral position. Of course, also try to get that big toe in as much of a neutral position as you can manage. And then as you can see here, try to drive your knee as far forward as you can within your available ankles range of motion. Now, if you haven't guessed already, I want you to be able to do this without collapsing the knee in. And the previous exercise, especially if you've been diligent with it, should help you initiate this motion successfully. Now, it must be said that you will need good ankle or decent amount of ankle mobility and a decent calf and Achilles flexibility to do this successfully. So if you have a tight ankle or calf and Achilles, it might not be a bad idea at all to spare a moment to mobilize a joint or stretch the lower leg. I have a video on how to address those, and there are plenty of other resources to help address that as well. It is very important to drive the knee forward without collapsing the knee in, because it helps optimizes your arch support system so that you don't collapse through the arch too fast. At times, it is the rate at which we collapse to the arch without controlling the arch that stresses the joint of the big toe out, causing the bunion. That is why it is so important that you master and get your butt muscles stronger to help stabilize the knee so it doesn't have excess influence on the arch of the foot. Am I making sense here? Actually, you know what? So I got my friend's leg here. So every time we walk, every time we run, every time we jog, every time we moonwalk, and you name it, there are certain phases of our cycle where we collapse through the arch of the foot. And some of us collapse to the arch of the foot without really controlling it. We just go through the passive motion, letting gravity win all the time without a fight. Now, gravity will win, but you want to make sure that you are using your intrinsic muscles to help and slow down the rate at which gravity wins, if that makes sense. So if we are just allowing the arch of our foot to collapse uncontrollably, what tends to happen over time is that the first ray or this bone here will be pushed out repetitively all the time, every time we get through a certain phase of our gait cycle, walking cycle, jogging cycle, whatever you want to call it. And when it does that repetitively, uncontrollably, your body will start to stress through the joints here. And what your body will interpret that as is, oh, I need to build a little more resilience. And sometimes it layers on a little bit of excess bone, and that will cause the rest of that big toe to push this way, causing that little bump on the side of your foot. So that is why it is very important to try to optimize and get your butt muscle as functionally strong as possible to help you control the arch of your foot. So strengthen your butt muscles in addition to local exercises that I've provided in the previous video, and also where toe separators, and I talk about toe separators as well in another video. Do this in combination with the mechanics that we are addressing here, and it will help you improve your bunion. If you find that none of this profile fits you, or if you have the resources, like I always say, please go see a physical therapist. It'll be much more helpful than watching me online, because believe it or not, when I have people come in, there are other menu things that I'm able to pick up that is unique to the individual that helps them become successful. All right. Okay, I'm gonna get off the box now. All right, bye-bye.